During a confirmation hearing yesterday, something happened that I don't think has ever happened before. Multiple nominees for senior Justice Department jobs said during their confirmation hearings out loud that they're not sure that presidents have to obey rulings from the courts. Not always.
There is no hard and fast rule about whether in every instance a public official is bound by a court decision.
Generally, if there's a direct court order that binds a federal or state official, they should follow it.
Why do you say generally? Give me an exception.
I suppose one could imagine hypotheticals in, extreme cases.
The president has now asserted that he has the right basically to do what he thinks is necessary to save the country. And I'm asking whether that includes violating a Supreme Court order.
I've represented President Trump for 2 years. I've never been put in any situation like that, and I don't anticipate being so.
I just got to say, Mr. Chairman, that's a little bit frustrating.
That's a little bit frustrating. You may recognize one of those nominees, the guy with the raspy voice. He's named John Sauer. He is the lawyer who told a federal appeals court that Donald Trump would be within his rights to order a team of Navy SEALs to assassinate his political opponents. That Donald Trump could not be prosecuted for giving such an order. Mr. Sauer is now up for the job of Solicitor General, which is the person who represents the United States government before the Supreme Court. The unnerving refusal by him and other Trump Justice Department nominees yesterday to say that the president must always obey the federal courts, that prompted a stern and somewhat unexpected admonition from one Republican senator, from John Kennedy of Louisiana.
You're all adults. You're all officers of the court. So I'm going to give you some advice. I may be wrong, but I doubt it. Don't ever take the position that you're not going to follow the order of a federal court. Ever. Now, you can disagree with it. Within the bounds of legal ethics, you can criticize it. You can appeal it. Or you can resign.
Joining us now is Illinois Senator Dick Durbin. He is the second highest ranking Democrat in the Senate. He's the ranking member on the Senate Judiciary Committee. Senator Durbin, it's a rare pleasure to be able to have you here on the show tonight. Thank you so much for making time.
Thanks, Rachel. Good to be with you.
I know that you have had a strong reaction to those nominees playing with the idea that Donald Trump doesn't have to obey court orders. In an interview today, you called it breathtaking. You said it raises serious existential constitutional questions. We've got to step back and have an honest discussion about this. Why do you feel so strongly about that? What can you explain to our viewers about the seriousness of this issue that you've now come across in these confirmation hearings?
Rachel, you and I have heard many people use the phrase constitutional crisis and try to define exactly when it reaches a breaking point with our Constitution. And it seems to me that the final question is the one I raised with these witnesses. If you are given a court order that says to this president, or any president for that matter, that there are certain actions that they cannot take or should not take or have to take, are you going to follow that order? And it turned out to be a debating topic. I thought the answer was a clear yes, and let's move on. But they wanted to debate it. You heard one of them qualified say, well, generally, yes. And we had these equivocal answers. The most definitive answer came from John Kennedy, as you noted, a Republican of Louisiana, who made it clear what I think the law is. You may hate the order of the court, but you either follow it or resign, period. I can't think of an exception to that. They tried to use an illustration, Korematsu, Dred Scott, those terrible decisions. One of the Republican senators used as an illustration of a court order that you could morally rationalize opposing. But the bottom line is you cannot take a subjective test on this issue. If you did, you'd have someone who might be a racist who says Brown versus Board of Education, integrating our schools. I don't believe in that. That's morally reprehensible to me, and I will not enforce that order in my administration of education. So you see, that's a slippery slope. So I think we've raised a threshold question for the Department of Justice appointments by this administration, and we'd better debate it out because it gets to the heart of our democracy.
It does get to the heart of our democracy. It is the closest thing that we have to an existential question, I think, in terms of our republic. To see the wholesale destruction of the federal government, which I think they're trying to do, to see them appearing to ignore laws when it comes to doing what they're trying to do to the U.S. government is a bad thing, as far as I'm concerned. Disobeying the law seems to be bad. But the prospect that when a court corrects that, when a court declares it to be illegal and orders them to change course, that they will not do it. We are just in a territory that's like where the Roadrunner runs off the end of the cliff and then there's nothing there and it just drops. I have to ask you, because I think you do very clearly see the seriousness of this, what sort of contingency plans elected Democrats have for further sounding the alarm and for trying to correct course and pull that Roadrunner back onto the cliff if they go as far as they're signaling they might?
Well, I can tell you, I think this is going to be a standard inquiry of all those appointed to serve in the administration, particularly in the Department of Justice. As I said, I was a little bit surprised, not totally, because we've seen some rather amazing things done by this administration so far, but I was surprised by the answers yesterday. We cannot take for granted that any of these nominees from the Trump administration will follow the basic tenets of our constitutional law. We have to ask the question. And if the answer comes back no, as did yesterday, or at least qualified as it did yesterday, it is right for us to continue to press the case. As the minority, it's a frustration that we don't have controlling votes on the question. But I am hopeful, and I hope John Kennedy is an illustration, that there will come a moment when Republican senators will come out of hiding and speak up clearly on something as basic as this principle of constitutional law. Because if we abandon this, I'm afraid we've abandoned our democracy.
Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois, ranking Democrat on the Judiciary Committee, senior Democrat in the Senate. Sir, thank you for your time tonight. I do really appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Rachel.